नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 24th chapter, text 24-25. So these two verses are together, and text 25 has been written on the board, so I'll just read the text 24 through. Tarheva shadashas tashman nishkramantam sahanugam upagiyamanam amara pravarang vibudhanugai. Then it is coming to text 25. Tapta hema nikayabham shiti kantham trilochanam prasada sumukham bhiksha pranemur jata kautukaha. Tapta hema nikayabham shiti kantham trilochanam prasada sumukham bhiksha pranemur jata kautukaha. Tapta hema nikayabham shiti kantham trilochanam prasada sumukham bhiksha pranemur jata kautukaha. Tapta hema nikayabham shiti kantham trilochanam prasada sumukham bhiksha pranemur jata kautukaha. Mataji's. Carry on, carry on. Who is next? Tapta Hema, molten gold. Nikayabham, bodily features. Shitikantham, blue throat. Trilochanam, with 3 eyes. Prasada, merciful. Sumukham, beautiful face. Bhiksha, seeing. Pranemu, offered obeisances. Jata, aroused. Kautukaha, being amazed by the situation. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. Please repeat after me. The Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances. In great amazement, and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Vibhudhanugai indicates that Lord Shiva is always accompanied by the denizens of the higher planets known as Gandharvas and Kinnaras. They are very expert in musical science, and Lord Shiva is worshipped by them constantly. In pictures, Lord Shiva is generally painted white, but here we find that the color of his skin is not exactly white, but like molten gold, or glowing yellowish color. Because Lord Shiva is always very, very merciful, his name is Ashutosh. Among all the demigods, Lord Shiva can be pacified even by the lowest class of men who need only offer him obeisances and leaves of bel tree. Thus his name is Ashutosh, which means that he is pleased very quickly. Generally, those who are very fond of material prosperity approach Lord Shiva for such benedictions. The Lord, being very merciful, quickly awards all the blessings the devotees ask of him. The demons take advantage of this leniency and sometimes take benedictions from Lord Shiva, which can be very dangerous to others. For instance, Brikasura took a benediction from Lord Shiva by which he could kill everyone he touched on the head. Although Lord Shiva sometimes very liberally gives such benedictions to the devotees, to his devotees, the difficulty is that the demons, being very cunning, sometimes want to experiment improperly with such benediction. For instance, after receiving his benediction, Brikasura tried to touch the head of Lord Shiva. Devotees of Lord Vishnu, however, have no desire for such benedictions, and Lord Vishnu does not give his devotees benedictions cause disturbance to the whole world. So, this is the story of the Prachetas. First of all, I want to welcome all the devotees from Surat. How was your ride? I'm very happy that you all came. Thank you so much. How was the journey? The train was on time. I just got to know. And did they receive you properly in the station? And you are nicely situated in the rooms? Okay. And so I'll give a short class so that you can get a quick breakfast. I know, after this long ride, you all must be quite hungry also. Hare Krishna. So, previous chapters described about Prithu Maharaj. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari. So Prithu Maharaj Prithu was a very, very exalted personality. And as we have discussed many times before, that Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a Mahapuran, is not just telling some stories. The Puranas don't tell stories. Purans narrate about real happenings. It is history, not story. What is the difference between history and story? Stories are fictitious. Stories are imaginary. Whereas history is the chronological record of the illustrious kings. Itihash. But Puranas, histories are chronological. Chronological means it describes according to the time. Which king came after which king, what happened in his kingdom, in his time, and so forth. It's the narrations of activities of the kings. But Puranas generally describe the activities of the devotees of the Lord and the Lord Himself. And those activities are not chronological. Those activities are mainly thematical. Importance is not according to time, but the theme. What happened? But sometimes there is chronological descriptions also. In here we find different dynasties are being described. Like we know the Jadu dynasty, how the Jadu Vamsa came. How Lord Ramchandra's Vamsa came, Ikshaku Vamsa came. And we find in other places also those descriptions, like in Bhagavad Gita, we find descriptions of Ikshaku dynasty. What is the history of Ikshaku dynasty? Imam vivashyate yogam vivashwan. Vivashwan manavipraho. Vivashan spoke to his son Manu. Manu Ikshakuve abravit. Then Ikshaku spoke to his son. Manu spoke to his son Ikshaku. And in this way, the Ikshaku dynasty. In which dynasty Lord Ramchandra appeared? It is also known as Raghu Vamsa. Raghu was Lord Ramchandra's forefather. But original propounder of that dynasty was King Ikshaku. Ikshaku was the son of Vaivashyata Manu. And similarly, Jadu Vamsa, we get descriptions of which is Chandra Vamsa, coming from moon. Somdev, moon god. It is his line. So here we are getting the descriptions of Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj's son was Antardhan. His original name was Bijitashva. And Indra gave him this title or name, Antardhan. Antardhan means disappearance, disappear. At his will he could disappear. Antardhan. So Antardhan's son was Habirdhan. And his son was Barhishat or Prachina Barhi. Barhishat's sons were, who are the Barhishat sons? Prachetas. And here is the descriptions of the Prachetas. Prachetas were instructed by their father to get married, enter household life. But Prachetas felt, these 10 sons of King Prachina Barhi, they felt that they need to become qualified to enter into household life. Therefore, they they started to travel towards the western direction. And then they came across a very beautiful lake, which was very, very beautiful. There were many, many beautiful lotus flowers and beautiful birds like swans and chakravak, and all these birds were. And it was very serene, very peaceful, very beautiful. And then they saw one personality coming out. That's what has been described here. From the water came out one personality. What is the description of that personality? In this, Tapta Hema. Tapta means molten, and Hema means gold. His bodily complexion was like molten gold. Tapta Hema, Nikayabham, Shiti Kantham. Kantha means neck, and Shiti means blue. And Trilochanam, he had 3 eyes. Living entities generally have 2 eyes, but this personality had 3 eyes. Trilochanam. And he was surrounded by many associates. They were expert musicians, and they were singing his glory. So who is that personality? He is the chief of the demigods. Demigods are known as devas, and this personality is the chief of the demigods, therefore he is known as Mahadev. So who is that? Lord Shiva. This is the description of Lord Shiva. What is the complexion of Lord Shiva? Prabhupada pointed out, generally in the pictures Lord Shiva is painted as white. But Prabhupada is pointing out, from this description, his complexion is not white. His complexion is like molten gold. But of course there is another reason why the complexion of Lord Shiva is white, because he smears ash all over his body. He covers his body with ash, therefore the actual color of this body is covered, and he appears, when you cover your body with ash, then the body becomes white. So that is probably one reason why Lord Shiva is painted as white. And Lord Shiva, Prabhupada is pointing out that Lord Shiva is very mercifully looking at his devotees. Bhiksha, he is Saha Anugam, accompanied by great souls, by his great devotees who are glorifying him by very beautiful songs of glorification. And he is described here, this is actually from the previous verse, Amara Pravaram. Amara means Mara means death. And Amara means those who don't die. Who don't die? Anybody knows who doesn't die? The demigods generally don't die. There is no death in heavenly planet. So they don't die. So therefore they are known as Amara. And Prabharam means the best. So he is the best of the demigods, as I just mentioned. Demigods are devas and he is the Mahadev or Devadi Dev. Lord Shiva is the best of the demigods, the demigod of the demigods. He is the greatest of the demigods. Therefore he has these names. Amara Pravaram, Mahadev, Devadi Dev. And he is looking at his devotees very mercifully, with his three eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. And one of the qualifications of Lord Shiva is that he is very merciful, so merciful that he is very quickly pleased. Therefore, another name of Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Ashu means, what is the meaning of the word Ashu? Ashu means quickly. And Tosh, Santosh, Tosh means pleased. Lord Shiva is very quickly pleased. And demigods, the demons, take advantage of this nature of Lord Shiva. They, taking advantage that he gets quickly pleased and he grants benedictions very quickly, they take all kinds of benedictions from him. Like Prabhupada is giving the example of Brikashura. Brikashura was performing severe austerities to please Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva came to him and asked, "What do you want?" And so the demons, what do they want to do? Demons want to acquire power to enjoy this material nature. The demon's business is somehow to enjoy this material nature. And therefore, they often try to become very powerful so that they can kill whoever opposes them. In Bhagavad Gita, this point has been very nicely described by Krishna, the demoniac nature. The demoniac nature is that I have killed so many of my enemies and others also I'll kill. All they want is to just get rid of those who are coming on their way. That is, we have to understand that is a demoniac nature. Sometimes we also think that, he is such a disturbance, let's get rid of him. But that is actually not a very divine quality. Rather, the divine quality is that we want to make everybody into a devotee of Krishna. We don't want to get rid of anybody, we want to include everybody. But if somebody has some defect, we try to rectify that defect. We want to help him rectify that defect. But sometimes, of course, for the sake of management, if someone is a disturbance, then we have to remove them. It happens. But generally, the demoniac nature is to get rid of those who are opposed to them. That's why they want to become very powerful, so that they can have undisputed control over this world. And so this Brikashura, what did he want? He wanted to be able to kill anybody. What is the easiest way to kill? Just touch him on the head and he'll be dead. It's an amazing power, and Lord Shiva could grant that power. All he had to say is Tathastu. Tathastu means let it be. Let it be. So Lord Shiva said, let it be. You have the power. And the demon wanted to experiment his power. But there was nobody around. So he said, okay, let me see. Because Lord Shiva was the only person standing there in front of him. So he wanted to check that power, check out whether it works. And he wanted to put his head on Lord Shiva's head. Put his hand on Lord Shiva's head. And so now Lord Shiva is in trouble. Now this is also another nature of the demons. They don't have any gratitude. He took advantage of Lord Shiva, but now he wants to kill Lord Shiva, just right after getting this benediction. Now Lord Shiva is in trouble, so he ran for his life. And he was running and Brikashura was running after him. So fortunately, Narayan was there. Lord Shiva came to Narayan and told him what happened. Then Narayan said, Lord Shiva said, please save me. Please save me. So then Narayan said, okay, let me see what I can do. So he assumed the form of a little boy. And he saw Brikashura running. So he asked him, why are you running like this? So Brikashura told him what happened. He said that Lord Shiva gave him this boon, and now when he wanted to put his hand on Lord Shiva's head, Lord Shiva is running away from him. So he is trying to catch him. So Narayan, this little boy, what actually happened, Krishna used his Jogomaya. And Jogomaya made this this demon forget everything. If he was in his senses, he would have said, okay, now that I found you, let me put my hand on your head. But because of Jogomaya's arrangement, he could not do that. So he was running after him, his mind was just fixed on Lord Shiva. So another arrangement of Jogomaya. So this little boy said, anybody you put your hand on his head, he will die? Come on. That cannot be true. He must have been cheating you. He was not serious about it. So why don't you put your hand on your own head? So, by the arrangement of Jogomaya, he forgot everything and he put his hand on his own head and his head immediately cracked into 1,000 pieces and the demon was dead. Brihad Bhagavatam actually describes that when Narad Muni went to Lord Shiva and started to tell him about how he was the greatest devotee, Lord Shiva was lamenting. He was saying, you call me a devotee, all I do is create trouble for him. I cause so much trouble for him. If I was a devotee, then I wouldn't have done that. A devotee never causes distress to his master. And he said, he mentioned that I give this benediction to these demons very quickly and they create disturbance and then the Lord has to come himself to rectify the situation. So that is how Lord Shiva is lamenting. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jai Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So in this way, Lord Shiva is lamenting. And this is how sometimes Lord Shiva does create disturbance to the Lord. And the Lord has to bring him to his senses. Another instance was when he was fighting against Krishna himself. Lord Shiva was fighting against Krishna to support his devotee, so-called devotee Vanasura. Vanasura captured Aniruddha. Aniruddha, Vanasura's daughter Usha, fell in love with Aniruddha just in a dream. He saw Aniruddha and fell in love with him. And Usha had a friend, Chitralekha. Chitralekha had the mystic power. So she started to paint the pictures of different personalities. Like Usha was so much in love with this person that she was in a very, very difficult situation. She was feeling that she would die if she cannot get this person of his love, of her love. And then Chitralekha started to paint different personalities. And then when she painted the picture of Aniruddha, the son of Pradyumna, then she said, yes, this is the person she saw in her dream. So Chitralekha, with a mystic power, when Aniruddha was asleep on his bed in Dwarka, stole him. She carried Aniruddha with her mystic power to Shonitpur, the kingdom of Vanasura. And there they met. And then the attendants of Chitralekha could suspect that she is associating with a man. There were signs in her body that she was associating with a lover. So they reported to Vanasura. And Vanasura came and found his daughter Usha is with Aniruddha. So he ordered his army to fight with Vanasura. With Aniruddha. Vanasura ordered his soldiers to fight and arrest him. To arrest him. Not to fight, but to arrest him. But Aniruddha was so powerful that he picked up an iron rod. And it has been described that the iron rod in the hand of Aniruddha became like Danda of Jamaraj. Jamaraj punishes everyone with his stick. Can anybody face Jamaraj? Just Jamaraj has a stick in his hand, and with the stick he can defeat anybody. So Aniruddha, with the stick, just a stick in his hand, he defeated the entire army of Vanasura. But then Vanasura, he had the mystic power of a snake rope. The snakes tied up Aniruddha. And this way he was captivated. So the news reached Dwarka. Narad Muni reported to Krishna what happened to his grandson. So Krishna and Balaram immediately came with the army and a big fight took place. Now who can face Krishna? Big fight took place, and Shiva also. Shiva actually gave Vanasura his words that he would always protect him. But here we can see that Lord Shiva may say that he will always protect, but he cannot protect anybody from Krishna's wrath, Krishna's anger. So, and then eventually Krishna didn't kill Vanasura, but chop off. Vanasura had 1,000 hands. That's why he became. And with his Sudarshan Chakra, he cut all his hands, 996 hands. Left only 4 hands. And then Vanasura came to his senses, and Aniruddha got married to Usha. So here Lord Shiva actually is lamenting afterwards. He's telling Krishna that, why do I forget you, forget your position, and I fight with you like an enemy, supporting your enemies, the demons. Anyway, this is how the Lord's pastimes unfold. So, this we have to, as I mentioned earlier, these are not stories. These are factual happenings. It happened. And we must accept them with full faith. Then our faith in Krishna will be established. If we believe in these descriptions, what will happen? We'll get to see what happens when somebody becomes a devotee of Krishna and what happens when somebody becomes inimical towards Krishna. And then we are left with a choice. Should he become a devotee or should he become his enemy? So what will be your answer? Think about it very deeply and make your decision. Whether you'll become a devotee of Krishna or whether you'll become an enemy of Krishna. Will you accept Krishna or you'll reject Krishna? I'm sure everybody made his decision properly for their ultimate benefit. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari. Does anybody have any question? What is that? Abode of Lord Shiva?
Beyond Brahmajati.
Okay.
So what business does he have with this material world? What business does he have with this material world? Because we know there are...
Lord Shiva has his abode in the beyond Brahmajyoti. Lord Shiva also has his abode in this material world. And Lord Shiva takes care of destruction of this material nature.
So you know that there are 11 Rudra Shivas. What's the difference between the Rudra Shivas and...
11 Rudras are his expansions. They come to this material nature. Lord Shiva's presence in this material nature appears in that way. In a way they are known as Brahma's sons because they came from Brahma.
Lord Shiva himself would have killed this Barasura. Like Lord Shiva was powerful enough to kill Barasura or not? Why he is in the hand of Krishna?
Why took he took?
Why he himself has not killed Barasura? Like,
why he didn't kill Vanasura? Good question. You see, we have to understand these pastimes of the Lord are like a play. Like for example, why did Ramchandra allow Sita to be stolen by Ravana? Right? I mean, he's the supreme controller. He could have checked that. But the thing is that if Sita was not stolen, then this pastimes couldn't take place. Sita was stolen, not Sita was stolen. Maya Sita was stolen. So here also, Lord Shiva is as if he is afraid and he is running. Naturally, he could kill Vanasura any time. But just to allow the pastimes to take place, to establish the glory of the Lord. That's why, like another consideration is, why is Lord Brahma bewildered? Krishna comes every day of Lord Brahma. If somebody comes to you, meet you every day, can you forget who he is? So how can Lord Brahma fail to recognize Krishna? But these things had happened by the arrangement of Jogomaya. If they didn't happen, the pastimes wouldn't be taking place.
I have 3 questions from this translation book. Rajesh Chaitanya Prabhu is asking, how do the demigods not die? Like Prabhupada said, until Brahmaloka, there is still birth, death, old age and disease.
Yeah.
How come the demigods don't die?
They die at the time of annihilation, at the time of total annihilation. Generally, they don't die in the heavenly planet, but when the whole creation is destroyed, then they die. Another thing that happens, like sometimes some living entities become elevated to the heavenly planet. Now, when they go to heavenly planet, when their piety is finished, then they fall from the heavenly planet. They don't die there. They fall down into the earth planet.
My question is from Mr. Shyamgoendu. What is the answer? Why does Lord Shiva favor the demons? And what can we learn from it?
What can we learn from
Why
that?
does Lord Shiva favor the demons?
What you learn from that is when you go to Mahakal temple, you simply ask Lord Shiva to bless you that you become a good devotee of Krishna. Don't ask for any other boon.
So, is there some specific reason that Lord Shiva favors the demons like Vanasura and Vikasura?
One reason for that is, you see, the 3 modes are controlled by 3 different personalities. According to their nature, they develop their attraction. Like those who are in the mode of ignorance, tamogun, then they naturally become attracted to Lord Shiva. Like we notice, those who smoke ganja and things, they're just Om Namah Shivaya. Their mantra is not Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Their mantra is Om Namah Shivaya. Because they are in the mode of ignorance, they have a natural affinity for Lord Shiva.
Third question. How can we elevate in spiritual life by worshipping Lord Shiva?
How can, as I mentioned, when you go to Lord Shiva, when you go to Mahakal temple, what should you ask from Lord Shiva? You ask for the benediction that you can develop your devotion to Krishna. Okay, some questions from the internet. Rekhu Chandak from Mumbai. It is said that all the planets in this material world has birth, old age, disease and death. Even Brahma says that he is mortal. In this class you mentioned that demigods do not die. So how can we understand that? Rekho, I just answered it, but still I'll repeat the answer again. Generally, in the heavenly planet, they don't die. But when the creation is destroyed, then they give up their material situation and material body, and then they sort of die. Like Lord Brahma, he is not born in an ordinary way. He just appears directly from the Lord. So similarly, the demigods also kind of, they appear from Brahma's mind or different other ways. And at the end, they go back to the spiritual world. And another consideration here is sometimes people, due to their pious activities, become elevated to the heavenly planet. Now, when they leave the heavenly planet, they don't die. They actually fall from the heavenly planet. There they don't die. Next question is Kamal Yada from Indore. In lecture you told the demigods, same question. The demigods are immortal, but we have been hearing the demigod is also having lifetime. Please explain. Yeah, the point actually is they're Amara because they don't die like that in the heavenly planet. But at the end of the annihilation, when everything is annihilated, then they leave the material nature. Kind of, yes, then they die. Only when the total annihilation takes place. Okay, so I'll stop now. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and the devotees take care of the guests very nicely. Yes, Radhacharan Prabhu. Yeah, the mic. ওখানে দাও। দেখো কতটা যায়। Cordless mic কি হলো? Ganganarayan, Bimal, who is taking care of this? And where is the cordless mic? And why he is not attending here? Who is that? কে দেখছে? তাহলে অন্য কাউকে দাও। He is irresponsible. Don't give responsibility to irresponsible people.
In 17th chapter, Lord Krishna tells, man in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, and those in mode of passion worship demons, and those in mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. And we do understand that there are three modes. We are worshipping Lord Shiva, Lord the modes of understanding the spirits. It is mentioned that those in mode of goodness, they worship the demons.
Yeah. Well, that is the material consideration. That's one way. Like materially, when one is in the mode of goodness, they'll worship the demigods. And the Jaksharakshanshi and Bhuta Preta. In the passion, they were Jakshas and Rakshasas. And in the mode of ignorance, they worship Bhutas and Pretas. That is one calculation, one way to one situation. The general understanding is the higher understanding, or which is the more elevated understanding. In mode of goodness, one worships Vishnu. In the mode of passion, worships Surya and Surya and Devi. And in the no, in the mode of passion they worship Surya, and Brahma is not worshipped that way. Yeah. And in the mode of ignorance, they worship Durga, Kali. Not Durga, mainly Kali and Lord Shiva. Pancha Upasana. Like Vishnu in the mode of goodness, Surya in the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva in the mode of...
Can we understand this thing? Those who are worshipping Lord Shiva are not in pure mode of ignorance. They have some mode of sattva.
Good point, yeah. Yeah, they are more elevated situation, more elevated. But those who are in the mode of, more deeper mode, then in the mode of ignorance they worship bhutas and pretas. We see some people go to the crematorium and perform such activities. Tantric pujas. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hare Hare.